Hey everyone, welcome to the Everyday Human podcast. My name is Eastin DeVerna. Each day I'll share a reflection written by me and inspired by literature, poetry, music, movies, video games, and more. And after that, I'll share a prompt for you to write your own reflection. Together, we'll explore what it means to be human. Every month, we'll walk a new path, taking a look at life, death, the universe, and everything in between. Thanks for coming along. I'm glad you're here. For more, visit eastindeverna.com or join me on Instagram at _everydayhuman. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everyday Human. It's February 6th. Today's reflection is titled, The Dangers of Being a Necromancer. And if you are a necromancer, this is not directed solely at you, although I would encourage you to do some reflection and consider what brought you to this position in your life right now. And that's a joke. Necromancers aren't real. And this reflection was inspired by a book called Samurai Grandpa, which is a graphic novel that came out in 2017, and it was written by me, Eastin DeVerna. And it has artwork and lettering by my good friend Shawn Daley. Shawn is a cartoonist who lives in Toronto. He's been a good friend of mine since, 2013, something like that. And we've been making books now for a number of years. We still haven't met in person, but it's got to happen one of these days. And Samurai Grandpa was one of the first graphic novels that I worked on. It had quite an adventure. Shawn and I put this one out by ourselves through Kickstarter. We started this in 2016. We fulfilled in 2017. It was received pretty well. We eventually ended up working with the publisher, and it was put out through them in comic shops. We got to see it in some shops all over the world, and in Canada and the U.S., obviously, which was really cool. And then we eventually got our rights back, and now we are back in the self-publishing saddle. We just completed the first part of Volume 2 of Samurai Grandpa, and we will have another Kickstarter for the second part of that volume later this year, which will complete Volume 2. And so, just a little bit about the book and about the title, so it kind of you'll have a little context for that. So Samurai Grandpa is a book about an old samurai who was retiring the blade, putting his violent past behind. He returns home one day to find his son was murdered and his granddaughter was kidnapped. He sets out on a journey to get her back. He encounters foes and friends from his past. He meets new ones along the way, and it's a story of change at an old age, a story of redemption, of understanding, of looking at two sides of a coin. I usually say it's a bit like Old Man Logan meets Samurai Jack. And that book has a special place in my heart. And so the title, The Dangers of Being a Necromancer, refers to the quote that is coming up shortly. And it was spoken by a character named Prince Burker, who is this giant sort of tree person who presides over the kingdom of the dead. And he is speaking in particular about a necromancer, who is a villain in this book and underling of the main antagonist named Orochi. And so, so the quote that's coming up is spoken by Prince Burker about the necromancer, and it follows what I think was a pretty cool battle in the Kingdom of Dead. And it goes like this. Yes, that one was obsessed with death. That is no way to live. And Prince Burker is kind of like an Ent, if you've read Lord of the Rings or seen the movies. So he's like this big, green, giant, moving tree. And he speaks very slowly. All right, on to the reflection. Remember that you must die. That's the Stoic practice of Memento mori. Literally, The idea is to spend a moment or two each day reflecting on your own mortality. A simple thought devoted to the fact that one day you won't be here. That the problems you face now, just like you, are temporary. The good you experience as well as the bad will fade. But the idea is not to remind yourself that your life is a mere blip in the near infinite timeline of the universe and then fall into a pit of despair. No, it's to remind you that as vulnerable and fleeting as your life is, you have the ability to choose in the present moment, to choose your actions, to decide to do good, to let go of the nonsense and the noise, to embrace and recognize the beautiful and joyful times. Accepting the fact that you are mortal and could leave this life right now, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, allows you to truly be free. But note this well. You must be careful of falling too far into this practice to the point you become obsessed with or begin to fear death. Before I was even introduced to this concept in high school Latin, I even took it in college because why not couple a useless language with a useless English degree? I jest. It's worth studying if you have the time. I often contemplated my own death. Reflecting on it now, I believe this was a result of the fear of dying and burning in hell for all of my sins. Thank you to the priests of Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Grammar School and Church. Rest in peace. Most of them, I think. It would reach pathological levels of fear, sometimes to the point of losing sleep or not wanting to do anything with my friends. One who lives a life focused on, or fearing death, is missing the point of, well, life. You'll be dead one day. You'll experience it then. So why waste time fixating on it now, when you should be loving others, planting gardens, laughing with friends, enjoying good food, reading good books, and seeing the world and all of the wonderful things it has to offer. So, remember that you must die, but at the same time, don't forget to live. And there ends today's reflection. And so, in your journal or wherever you are recording your thoughts, write or think about the following question. Ask yourself this: have I forgotten to live lately? What will I do today to remind me that I'm alive? So yeah, I think the practice of Memento Mori is a good one. It can humble us. It can remind us not to waste our time. But I think it's also good to get into the practice of reminding yourself that you are alive. And you should be doing wonderful things, like loving others, helping others, all those good things I mentioned. So yeah, try and work those both into your daily routine, if you care to. And that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow, February 7th, with another reflection. Have a good one, and take care.